Hello everybody, my name is Maven and I am here to tell you some things. So I have a lot to say and not all of it is going to get into this singular video. This is more of an introduction video to a series that I hope to accomplish over the summer while I have some time in between semesters. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. I'm not going to hold you. The earth is dying, all right? But obviously we all know that. At this point, if people don't know that, you're living under a rock. But this video is not going to be about that necessarily. It's going to touch on it, but it's not about that. This video is also not going to be hopecore. I'm not going to slam you with a bunch of everything's fine and everyone cares because, obviously not everyone does care. What this video is going to be is kind of a realistic, beautiful balance of both of those things. Because I, through my own experiences, have become aware many people are trying to make this world a better place. There are very few people who are actually legitimately actively trying to make it a worse place. And in America, at least, we all know who they are. We know who they are now. Okay? So, unfortunately, those assholes have most of the power and most of the free-floating power, if we're going to be super specific. And they have most of the free-floating money and resources. I would like to tell you a few things. First, let's start with, why do I say most of the free-floating power? It's because we as individuals and in our communities have more power than we think we do. Okay? Specifically, collectively. Not as an individual on our own, but together. So I think a great example I can bring up is the movie Ants. So I know everyone brings up this movie, but as an example, but I want to take it a little further. So we all know that the main ant, forget his name right now, it's probably something silly like ant, I don't remember, but the main antagonist, Hopper, and his grasshoppers, they start talking in the bar and they're like, what if they figure it out? What if they figure out that they have more numbers than us and they can overpower us? And Hopper's like, let's do our best to not make that happen. And then they do. The ants do that and then they defeat them. But when people talk about this story, they often forget a crucial point of what that movie was trying to tell us. It's not just the fact that we in numbers can collectively overpower evil overlords who, take all of our resources and money and time and, it's sounding a little familiar. The point is, they had a plan. They had a place to put their collective skills, their collective anger, their collective frustrations. They had a plan. They had motivations. They had drive into something that brought them all together to put their power in a single place together. And that's how they won. It was not just numbers. It was all of them collectively putting their power into one place that was equal to or greater the power of the grasshoppers. And that's what this video is about. Okay? I do want to say that most of us have tried something. That we have tried to put our energy into something. And I want to give us credit for that. Because me too. Okay? We all know the horrors that are happening in a country I can't name because I'm probably going to get banned before this video even gets big. But we all know what it is. And there's a couple of countries like that right now with the big old G words happening on behalf of the country that I was born in and have no control over being in, because they're trying to keep us here for slavery, modern day slavery. You get the point. Anyway, most of us have tried something. We've put our energy somewhere, but it usually ends up leading to burnout. Trying to do a many people thing by ourselves, and it leads to, like, again, burnout or like depletion of energy. It doesn't do enough, and then we get discouraged and stop, or we start misdirecting that anger at each other, and all of that energy, like, it becomes being very low productive or unproductive in general. And that's not even all of the ways that we could end up using our energy in ways that aren't helping, and it's not our fault. We are actively propagandized against knowing what to do with this because they don't want us to know what to do with this power. They know what could happen if we come together and actually start doing these solutions. And I'm going to talk about these solutions soon. Promise. So, we all know billionaire elitist Nazi pedophiles run our country, America, and they're also trying to take over the earth and for some godforsaken reason space. But we can't fight back. We can fight back in very many big ways, okay? And that's where the hope core bit comes in, okay? Because I did say we were going to have a realistic balance of both. We all know collectively different ways that we can change the world, okay? Like me, my whole thing is urban planning and community-centered design, and also just like the building and upkeep of communities. It's probably going to be a huge thing throughout the entirety of my life, but that's what I specifically am going to be centering myself on, okay? So for every one of you, what do you concentrate on? Where do you put that energy? How can we all change everything and change it fast? Because we've all heard the science. We know how fast the world is dying. We don't need to keep thinking about that. We need to start thinking about, what do we do together? How do we do this? And you know what? From the words of one of my role models, great question, I'd love to tell you. Okay? So, for me, like I just mentioned, I'm going to be focusing on community building, community planning. How do we get spaces where community can just happen naturally again in the urban environment? And I'm going to be taking the world by storm in the industries of interior design, interior architecture, urban planning. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I am going to be putting my effort and energy in. And even though I'm not technically in that industry right now, that's why I'm starting these YouTube videos, okay? I have knowledge, and I finally feel like I have something to say, something to put forth into this world, and I'm going to say it, okay? I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills that I picked up over the years, and I'm here to share them with you, okay? That's me. For you, we're going to have to play the game. I know. I hate capitalism too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We got to play this stupid game in order to win. Okay? And a great example right now that I'm following all over social media is Spirit 2.0. It seems totally off topic, right? Let me go way out there and then I'm going to reel it back in. Okay? I'm going to go way out there and then I'm going to reel it back in. Spirit 2.0. It started because one man is obsessed with owning his own airline. And then he found out that Spirit Airlines went dark out of the blue. didn't tell anybody, just stopped putting planes in the air and fired everyone on the same day and just said, peace, bye. And then he found out that the rights to owning that airline and operating that airline were going to be auctioned off. And then he had the idea, what if a whole bunch of us just put our money together for the price of one airline ticket at $45, and we bought the airline, and it became the airline for the people. And that kid went from a crazy idea, and now it's a reality. From the last I checked, they actually have an angel investor backer who doesn't want any profits or investment, doesn't want to be an executive, at least to my understanding. There's a co-op involved that's going to create the workers collective for them and help them build out the business model. And they're helping them put the bid in to own the airline. It's real. It's happening. And now because of that, there's another guy who's starting social media 2.0, who's going to make a social media that's not predatory, that is not ad-centered. It's for the people, and it's actually just for interaction. That's insane. That collective action is exactly what the movie Ants was telling us. It's not about just our numbers. It's about putting that energy in places that are actually going to work. A plan, a collective, active plan. And I'm so excited about it. And you should be too. So, not only do we need to worry about putting our energy into the world and into the things that we want to see in the world and to make the world a better place. It starts small. And I know. Don't tell me I know. I hate it when people look at me and go, change starts small. Because what does that mean? What is it? But okay, you can tell me change starts small. What does that mean? And I found out, at least from my experiences. Change starts in your neighborhood, in the places that you visit every single day, every single weekend, okay? I go to the same bar every single weekend, and I don't drink. I go there to hang out with my friends and play games, because it's a board game TTRPG bar, okay? That is my community. That is where I create my weak ties, and I'm there all day, just chilling, doing stuff. And now I'm going to help out. I'm going to work there over the summer. That's my little neighborhood, okay? Because I live in a skyscraper that doesn't help with interaction between neighbors. But my point in that is I take care of them and they take care of me. When I was in the hospital a couple of weeks ago, 4 people that I met from that bar and have become really close friends with came to sit with me in the ER while I was going through so much stuff, just because I created these ties with them, these relationships. I put effort and energy into taking care of them, and now they take care of me. And that is super important. That's what they mean by starting small. You have to create change in the places that you live and the people around you. Okay? You can't just change the world on a global scale. You have to start with the people around you, even if it's your family, neighbors, the people you see at the grocery store. You gotta make sure that they're okay. And in return, they'll make sure you're okay too. And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy, because it was not easy for me. Okay? It's getting easier as I do it more and as I flex those muscles and practice, because it is a practice. Because all of us in America, we are not raised to know what community is. We are not raised to understand how to be a villager. We are raised to be alone. And that is not conducive to human nature. That's not conducive to being a human being. Okay? We are hardwired biologically to be members of a community. And if you keep watching my videos, I'm going to try and explain how to do that. But that's, I'm already divulging, as you can see, into my special interest when this video is not supposed to be completely about that. So what's next? Okay, there's a couple other things that you can do. Okay, the last thing I want to touch on that you specifically can do, y'all need to start pushing back in your jobs. Okay, y'all need to start pushing back in your career fields. You need to stop sitting there and letting dumb old people, okay, tell you and me that, oh, no, this is just gonna be the way that it is, Oh God, exploitation. It's the way the world works. You can't do anything about it. Yes, you fucking can. You don't want to because it takes money out of your already infinitely bottomless pool of money and, puts it into actually being an ethical human being. And they don't want to. Why? Because they don't have any consequences. No one tells them no. No one tells them no. And they don't have any pushback. Not real pushback that they can't silence. So we got to do it. I'm starting to do it. You got to do it too. Everybody got to do it. I'm so sorry, Queen. I'm so sorry, honey. I know. I hate confrontation. It's the worst. It makes my body feel like it's on fire. And my brain wants to eject itself out of the window. You got to do it. I'm sorry. If you need help, throw a comment my way. Ask me a question. And I will try and make a video and just explain what we can do in our career fields and hopefully not lose our jobs because those are important in this economy. But we got to do it. So I already brought up a great example of fighting back. Spirit 2.0, social media 2.0. There are things we can do. But that's only 2 examples. Okay. And now here's where I'm going to get, here's where the I'm not going to hold you part comes in. You have to do something. You need to get up or scroll on your phone in a productive way and start doing something too. Or they are going to burn this planet to the ground. We have to do something. And it starts with just getting the ball rolling, okay? So how do you do that without me or somebody else telling you what to do? You got to connect a dot. I don't have the skills that you have. I don't know you. You know you. What are you good at? What could you give to something like this? What could you start yourself? Are you better as a support? Because I'm a better support, okay? What can you find to give that energy to and to make that power grow and overtake the evil that is besmirching this world, okay? You have to connect the dots. I cannot connect the dots for you. I can get you started, which is what I'm trying to do with this video. You gotta find it. You gotta find what is working. Like Spirit 2.0, that is working because they're actually getting that collective power. And then they're sharing it on social media and being like, hey, this is working. The ball is rolling. Here's every single step in the process that I'm at. We're making it work. What doesn't work? What have you personally seen that does not work? Hasn't worked? Like me, radicalization of people towards hopecore or, fear-mongering, that does not work. It doesn't help. It just makes people depressed or think there isn't a problem anymore when neither one of those are the solution. And last, before I let you go, okay, share the results for free. Whatever you find, share with other people for free. Please do not gatekeep the fucking knowledge behind a paywall, okay? Or they have to do something to get that knowledge from you, because that's exactly how capitalism still exists. That is exactly why they're still in power right now, and how they got power. Okay? They took knowledge from people, and then they started selling it as their own. And then they literally actively cut off sources of knowledge and erased people, unalived a lot of people so that people could not have access to the knowledge that they gained. They gained from those people. And now we're in a place where no one has that information but them. And they've convinced all of us that we have to also make businesses and profit off of that knowledge. So we have to fight back in ways that just collectively share that knowledge. I'm going to give you an example before we go, okay? Let's take the workforce, because everybody's had a job, okay? Unless you're young, but you can still do stuff too, because y'all are real good at the internet, okay? But I'm just saying, collectively, most of us have had a job. In the workforce, what's something that's taboo? Sharing your salary, right? You're not supposed to share your salary. They can't make it illegal, but they can tell you not to do it. Sort of. They've made it so taboo to share what your salary is in the workplace, because they know that if everyone knows what they're paid, you're all going to gang up on them and be like, what the hell? Why is this happening? Why is this person getting so much more than me than when they just started, or we're getting the same pay and I've been here for 15 years? It's the same precedent, the same principle with wealth and knowledge sharing. It's the same thing. If they can keep that to themselves, we don't hold the power, they do. And if everyone knows what they know, they don't hold the power anymore, do they? Okay. All right, my lovelies. That is what I have to share with you for today. That is the first video in this series. I know. Take a breath. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I did say that there is a solution to this, right? And I now am going to hold you. I love you. I am here for you. If you have questions, please let me know. I want to answer them. I'm that kind of autistic. Okay, this is my special interest. Please let me answer your questions. We can do this. It is going to take a lot from all of us. Okay? It's going to take a lot. We can do it. Together. Sometimes you're going to want to give up. Okay? I've wanted to give up a lot. So many times in my life, I've wanted to give up. But now that we're here together, we can do it. I'll take turns laying down. You can take turns laying down. But as long as one of us is up fighting, we can do it.